Yes.
If the Wookiees get weapons, the revolt will be much more difficult to quell.
It looks like I'm not the only one who thinks that Wookiees deserve better.
Incoming rebel units! How did they get here?
Choose your
Hello
reinforcements.
everyone, welcome back to Star Wars Empire at War, the Imperial campaign, where today we are on Kashyyyk, trying to stop Han Solo from freeing the Wookiees from their prisons, as we will need these Wookiees for the construction of the Death Star. We're just deploying our entire force of stormtroopers at the moment, and constructing some defensive positions at our primary base, just so that we can make sure that we can hold on to this point.
We've lost a prison facility.
1 down, 3 to go.
Unfortunately, Han Solo is making progress when it comes to destroying our facilities, but we're going to advance very quickly and do our best to capture that first point.
Ready.
The first reinforcement point. We're just going to keep moving forward and see how quickly we can get through this. In this episode, we're going to be doing a couple of things. We'll be doing a couple of missions, and then also
As you wish.
securing the space over Kessel, I think, is the big thing that we're going to end up doing. So yeah, we're just going to murder these Wookiees. We're going to do our best. We're going to keep advancing, because, you know, the quicker we can advance, the better off we'll be. We're capturing this point here.
That's 2. I thought the Empire was supposed to be tough.
Yeah, the Empire is tough.
Turret constructed.
That's why you didn't make it, buddy.
Squad, move out.
So we are deploying our troops, because we do need to hold these last 3 resource points. So we're going to keep moving. If we can hold these 3 protect these 3 prison facilities, we'll be able to win this match. So to win, we need to defeat Han Solo and destroy the entire Imperial rebel invasion force. So there's Han Solo, and we're gonna get Darth Vader to take him on. We're gonna move our second group of stormtroopers forward.
Chewie, warm up the Falcon.
So that's Han Solo dead, and now we just need to ensure that we wipe out the remaining rebel landing forces. So really, it's just a case of moving our infantry around and making sure that we can keep the majority of our troops alive. You know, the longer they can survive, the better off we're going to be. I've got the anti-tank gun focusing down on the T2B tanks. We're just going to start moving the rest of our troops forward, as well as our artillery units. I think I start moving them now.
On my way.
So initially I'm going to put them up by the one of the last prisons that the rebels would potentially attack. The idea being that we can hold this particular position here. I do send all of the troops into one area, which is probably not the greatest idea, but the idea was that I was going to charge across this point here and potentially attack the final landing zone. However, the rebels do send in their T2B tanks around the side, so I deploy the artillery, and one of them starts opening fire, and I've got my troops moving back to take care of the problem. As you can see, making quick work of them. So I do start deploying them, and I consider putting them behind this prison instead, just so that they've got a closer range on both targets. But I think in the end it wasn't really necessary. I do end up splitting them up, so 3 of them go up behind one victory point, and the others sit here where they can start dealing out some damage.
Roger that.
Obviously these artillery units are doing some pretty good work. We're just gonna keep advancing.
Fallout troops.
Unfortunately, they have destroyed one of the prisons.
Roger that.
But that's fine. We're going to pull our troops back, see if we can tempt them into advancing, which we do. And that's this mission.
The traitor Solo was was wounded, but he escaped into the trees. He won't get far.
Locate him if you can. We must make an example of him.
Planetary control achieved.
I cannot understand how a former Imperial would waste such effort on a primitive and inferior race. The slaves we lost were inconsequential, since we still control their home world.
Solo could be more trouble than you think. Should I consider him my next target?
We have more important matters, Bounty Hunter. Only someone with authority could have allowed the rebels to land without detection. The traitor may be more important than we originally thought.
Tarkin, what do you have to report?
The Death Star is proceeding ahead of schedule, Your Majesty, thanks to the new labor forces from Geonosis and Kashyyyk. We have directed the surplus in supplies to various technological advances.
I am pleased with your progress. I have been informed of Colonel Veers and his new weapon of war. I shall be watching the demonstration remotely. It should prove most interesting. Both you and Lord Vader should view it as well.
I am needed elsewhere, my master.
And with the Death Star soon fully operational, we will have no need for ground assaults in the future.
Both of you will witness this demonstration. I see it as a seminal moment for the Empire.
Planetary.
Welcome to the Imperial Prototype Demonstration Field to witness the first full test of our new all-terrain armored transport. Awaiting your orders. As you can clearly see, the AT-AT is specifically built for difficult terrain. Note the four-legged design is able to trample defensive barriers with ease. I anticipate no problems.
Most impressive.
Now, observe the destructive firepower of the AT-AT. Just a few volleys at the targets will do. Confirmed and compliant.
So, as you can see, we are here on Caridia, and we are
Excellent work, Colonel.
testing General Veers' new all-terrain walker. As you can see, it is, or as you saw, it is an AT-AT. And this is kind of how we unlock the
there will be nothing left of
all-terrain walkers, all-terrain armored transport walkers. I do make a slight mistake early on in this mission by putting the defensive platforms up as repair stations, with only a couple of the forward positions being actual, what am I thinking? Actual, like, ground-based defenses.
Construction complete.
But that's because I remembered that this mission had a couple of rebel transports that land kind of here in this location, as you will see shortly.
The AT-AT can handle ground troops in a variety of ways. Observe as I deploy stormtroopers from the belly of the beast.
So, yes, as you can see, we're moving the walker forward to deal with the rebel soldiers who have landed.
Awaiting orders.
We're going to be deploying a couple of squads.
Special thanks to the Imperial prison system for providing our gracious test subjects today. They shall perish.
Yeah, so these are really just prisoners that the Empire has decided aren't really necessary. But as you can see, one squad of rebels really isn't too much of an issue, and the walker is making quick work of the prisoners.
Let's go.
But as I mentioned, I thought that was kind of the end of the mission, because it is just a demonstration of the all-terrain armored transport. So I kind of figured, hey, this will be the end of the mission. But I am not really correct in that assumption, as we will soon find out. But we are advancing towards the cage containing the Rancor, which we will find.
Even the formidable Rancor is no match for the AT-AT.
So yeah, as you heard, Rancor is really no threat to the all-terrain armored transport. But I have got it selected to use its maximum firepower.
What's this? It looks like rebel soldiers are invading. Not to worry, they pose no threat to the AT-AT.
So here we have the rebels landing, thinking that they will be able to disrupt this demonstration. It only adds to the demonstration, however, So our task is now to protect the commanders in their observation bunkers. However, we do
Yes, General.
not quite succeed. Some of them do fall,
Moving to
unfortunately.
attack.
But theoretically, it's not going to be too much of an issue to continue on. As you can see, we've got our stormtroopers moving forward in the hopes that they will be able to sufficiently hold off the enemy. So this is where earlier I mentioned that I had made a slight mistake in terms of how we went through this mission. I probably should have put them all as anti-vehicle turrets, but I had forgotten how this mission functions. So it was really just a case of moving the walker around and making sure that we take out as many of the T2B tanks as possible. Unfortunately, there is one that was just a little too close to our to the walker,
All power to energy blast.
but we make quick work of it.
They will die.
Although it does advance somewhat. That is okay. Just checking out around the map to see if there's anything else of importance. There isn't. So we're going to keep advancing, and there are only 6 T2B tanks remaining. So I do send my troops around.
En route. There will be nothing left of them.
Unfortunately, this T2B tank, this T2B does end up being a little too close, so I have to pull the walker back a little bit. The hope being that if he pulls back just far enough, which I think is this location here,
They shall perish.
we can get him to turn back around, and he'll quickly, Colonel Veers will quickly make short work of the
Right away, sir.
tank, and then we can start moving him towards the remaining 5 that are over here. So it's 1 down, 5 more to go. We're going to deploy a turret here, and the troops will hopefully hold off just long enough for the all-terrain armed transport to make its way
Divert all power to fire.
back to close to the start. But yeah, as you can see, it is just really a quick job of mopping up. Unfortunately, the rebels do attack Korea several times and launch ground invasions, each of which we repel successfully.
Reporting in, sir.
Really, it was not really a problem to do so. But I decided to cut those battles out of this particular episode because, well, in the end, the result made no difference to the overall campaign. But here you can see we're just quickly knocking it.
Thank you, Your Highness, for watching this demonstration. As you can see, the AT-AT is clearly capable of handling even the most surprising of situations.
That is a weapon truly worthy of the Imperial Army. Good work, Colonel.
I still don't believe we'll need such a machine once the Death Star has been unleashed upon the unsuspecting galaxy.
I foresee Veer's new weapon being even more successful than you could imagine, Tarkin.
Colonel Veers is of the opinion that the rebel base that launched the attack could not be far away, based on the size of their force.
I have used his information to pinpoint Jabim as the likely origin point. Allow me to take a force there and crush them once and for all.
More important than destroying their worthless base of operations is finding the identity of the one who revealed the location of this demonstration, my apprentice.
We will trace the traitor from his base, and he will be my next target, my master. He will not escape me.
Cruiser here.
Choose your reinforcements.
This pitiful force is preventing our assault on this system. Dispatch them so that we can secure orbit for the Empire.
Cruiser
I
reporting.
did say earlier in the episode that we were attacking Kessel, but that was only because I had somehow forgotten that we already had Kessel. You know, this recording is happening kind of the day after. Sorry, the voiceover is happening kind of a day after the recording. Unfortunately, so this first attack doesn't go as well as I had hoped, but that's only because the rebels have got a concentrated force in orbit around Korriban. But in the end, I decided that this particular fleet's job was not to defeat the rebel forces, although if I was a little bit more thoughtful about how I was deploying my starships, I could have potentially used this entire strike force to deal with the enemy. But no, the job of this particular assault was to knock out the space station. If we could destroy the space station, a follow-up fleet would have next to no issue destroying the pitiful rebellion's attempts at securing territory, or holding territory that should rightfully belong to the Empire. So we are moving our 2 acclimators forward to hopefully deal with the space station, and I order them to target the shield generators. The hope being that if I can destroy the shield generator, it will give a slight advantage to any other starfighter or starship that I send forward later in this particular battle. But unfortunately, the Nebulon B frigate, as well as the space station, are doing a pretty good job of cutting up our acclimators. So I continue pushing them forward in the hopes that we can potentially hold the line for just a little bit longer. Now, I do make a slight error of judgment deploying one of our broadside cruisers here beside the rest of our in our start location. In fact, I probably could have deployed the entire fleet a little bit better, but the idea was that I was just going to try and overwhelm the enemy as quickly as possible. As you can see, our lone acclimator is making headway, but he's not going to last for much longer. Unfortunately, the rest of our fleet is also slowly falling. I do try to rally the attack by sending in a squad of TIE bombers, but the Krillian corvette that's sitting next to the station doesn't really care that I had made an attempt to defeat them. So I continue pushing forward, moving the 3 acclimators ahead, and I get them to focus all firepower on the enemy's hangar bay. The hope being that if I can destroy the hangar bay, we can at least limit some of the enemy's troop movement. Not troop movement, but
reinforcements cancelled.
some of their fleet. Although, so I did say that it was a mistake launching the broadside cruiser here. It kind of was, it kind of wasn't. The idea being that I could maybe knock out the Nebulon B frigate fairly quickly. Unfortunately, the enemy does have a few wagons taking out our acclimators, but as I mentioned before, this fleet was rather large, so the chances of us actually successfully defeating them was pretty low from the beginning. So I do deploy 3 broadside cruisers up behind the enemy's space station, and I get them to quickly focus all of their fire on the space station. As you can see, they're firing missiles in a barrage area pattern, and they quickly make short work of the station. Now this is why we had broadside cruisers in the fleet to start with, their job being to strip the station of its shields and as many hard points as possible. I then get them to focus their fire on particular hard points, because if we can destroy them, particularly that hangar, which I realised probably was a little bit more important than anything else. Now we have 3 more Tartan patrol cruisers that we can deploy to the field.
Yes, Commander.
So I do send the one that we do have available to us forward, and I target the station's shield generator with the broadside cruisers, with the hope that, you know, if I could destroy those, the shield grabber, then the Titan patrol cruisers could quickly make short work of the rest of the station. Now, there is a slight error in my judgment. I could have destroyed the space station with the broadside cruisers if I had launched their final barrage area at the station itself, but I decided to launch it instead at the troop transports that are heading up towards our patrol cruisers, despite the fact that they don't really do much damage. I think the hope was that I would catch something like the Corellian corvette and hopefully destroy the enemy. Unfortunately, that's not what happens, and so we end up losing these broadside cruisers. In fact, I think we end up losing the entire fleet. It's not really too much of an issue, I think, as long as we can continue hitting them. As you can see, the broadside cruisers are firing on the Nebulon B frigate now. And, I mean, they look at the shields on enemy starships and they laugh. I mean, as long as those starships don't end up getting too close. So I instead get them to focus their fire on the space station, despite the fact that they were losing health rather rapidly. Their job being to knock out the remaining hard points. So I get them to target the larger hard point. Unfortunately, we lose one of them. That's fine, we lose the second one. But I think they end up destroying the hard point anyway. So I do try to concentrate fire on this Nebulon B frigate, hoping that if I can take him out, that's one less ship that we'd have to take out later on. In fact, I think we end up... No, so I see that the enemy's redeploying their fleet to kind of support the Nebulon B frigate, and so I decide, well, the stronger Nebulon B frigate would quickly make short work of our Tartan patrol cruisers, so I start moving back towards the space station. As you can see, taking out the squadron of X-Wings on the bay. Hoping to avoid the enemy's stronger Nebulon B frigate. And we get them to concentrate all firepower on that hard point, because the plan was, you know, in the end I was like, alright, we're going to lose, but if I can destroy this hard point, we can destroy the space station, which removes a significant defensive emplacement of the Rebel Alliance. As you can see, it's almost destroyed. And from there I decided, alright, well, we're going out, so let's not really lead them on too much of a chase, but if we can, we'll see if we can take out more of the enemy.
Ready. Bomber standing by.
This pitiful force is preventing our assault on this system. Dispatch them so that we can secure orbit for the Empire.
So you can see now that we did lose the initial battle, but we took out a significant portion of the enemy. And we're deploying Victory-class Star Destroyers versus the Nebulon B frigates because, well, unfortunately that was all we had remaining in our fleet. And again, the rebels were constantly attacking the ground on Corellia. This, however, isn't a problem for much longer. I do kind of quickly knock out the Nebulon B frigates. Of course, because the Victory class is a very good ship-to-ship starship. So really, it's a case of destroying the Nebulon B frigates and then knocking out the enemies. What was it? The transports. Which, well, yes, there is a large group. We are deploying our Tartan patrol cruisers into the midst of them, which will, of course, make short work of them, alongside a significant portion of the rest of our, well, the broadside cruisers are also firing on them. And then we also send our fighters in, so they also make short work of the enemy. And then we're deploying the Victory class starships closer to where the enemy transports are moving. But again, TIE fighters and everything are making short work of them. So yeah, in the next episode we'll probably move on to securing the territory around Corellia, then attacking Jubby, where the enemy force was coming from. If you are enjoying this, make sure you like, comment and subscribe. As you'll see, we've got some stuff coming up on the screen shortly. On the left hand side will be a video recommended to you by YouTube's algorithm, and on the right hand side will be the latest upload from this channel. So if you're enjoying this, make sure that you subscribe and everything, and until next time.